Now, speaking of justice and justice being served.
Yes.
Perhaps some of us, we should actually ask our audience, do y'all agree that A$AP Rocky should have been acquitted? I do. Reparations, bitch. So, A$AP Rocky.
How about innocence?
For some of y'all don't even know this, but A$AP Rocky, that's Rihanna's man, y'all. So A$AP Rocky.
That's so disrespectful.
That's so
It
good.
is?
That's so good.
Keep it going.
Keep the party going. Listen, how many women how many women are told that they are the wives of?
Okay.
I'm good with this.
I'm
Keep
not
going.
trying to poo-poo A$AP Rocky. I like
Keep
A$AP
going.
Rocky. I said this was a silver lining. I said for those of you who don't know,
Okay.
who only read A1, Tiff.
The Cliff Notes is.
In defense, I can't name one A$AP Rocky song, to be honest with y'all. So I
A$AP
lost my
Rocky
street
is
cred.
Rihanna's man, and he's a fashionista. They have 2 beautiful boys. Now, anyway, this man jumped across the backside of this court bench thing to hug her and his mom and them after he was acquitted. Now, he was facing 2 felony counts of assault with a deadly weapon. This came from a fight that he had with one of his longtime friends. When they went to the scene of the crime, they weren't able to find these shell casings. This man said he got shot, but he only had some scratches. And so the police went and were like, we can't find no casings. A$AP Rocky saying this is a stunt gun or whatever. It's not called a stunt gun. Prop gun.
Taser.
And no, not a taser.
Prop
A prop
gun,
gun. See, this is how rumors get started.
No, I was asking.
Andrew's like, Andrew, he done tased his damn friend.
You said, what is it called? I'm like, what? A taser?
A prop gun. So the prop gun was allegedly used to threaten him to calm down. A$AP Rocky allegedly fired said gun to scare him. This man's knuckles got scratched. He said, my friend shot me. So they went to go try to find these 9mm shell casings. Couldn't find them. Somehow, when old boy goes back to the scene, he finds said casings.
So
Allegedly.
is the suggestion that
The defendant found the casings?
No. The boy who said he got shot, his homeboy who said A$AP Rocky shot him. Then he comes back to the A$AP Rocky and he's like, yo, I got these shell casings. What you gonna do? So A$AP was like, he's trying to extort me. Old boy trying to extort me. We gonna ride this thing till the wheels fall off. I'm not taking no plea deal to make y'all look good, prosecutors. I'm gonna ride this thing because I know that the truth is with me.
Yeah.
And the jury decided in his favor. That is my most translatable version I can give you.
I love it.
Tiff.
That was pedestrian.
Because honestly, the way it was explained to me
I want to hear.
by a friend who's an attorney is like, he was offered this plea deal. He could have done 6 months and he would have been in and out. And the way he was presenting it to me is like, it's not looking good for him. Like he's facing
everybody
20,
was
40.
trying to say
it's
that.
never looking good.
But they didn't listen to the other
before a
side.
federal court.
They didn't listen to the other side. This mother said, my knuckles got shot off. He had some scratches, and after the scratches, they couldn't find the casings. The only time the casings turn up is when old boy goes to find the casings himself. And I forgot to tell you, he had just went to the gun range shooting a 9mm. So interestingly, some 9mm casings come up on the scene.
I don't even know how that gets
That is
admitted into
peculiar.
evidence.
But I'll say what I
agree,
think.
Andrew.
What I take from this is when an aggressive prosecutor comes in and is telling you, like, it ain't looking good for you. So we will take a plea of 6 months. You go to jail for 6 months, but then you come out, you have a record, it's all this on for him to have faith and say, no, I can't agree to that. That would be saying that I did something wrong. I did something that I know I didn't do. And that puts me in the mind of Khalif Browder. Who said no, the youth who they put in Rikers Island with grown men who was there simply because he couldn't afford bail. He was offered a plea deal and he said no, because that would be me saying I did something I didn't do. And I just think of all the people, disproportionately Black men, who are in that situation because someone convinced them, I can give you, you go do 5 years and you'll be out. But if you go to trial, you might get 30 years. And how devastating that is for so many people.
No, I was there. Look, I got offered a plea
Talk about
deal.
it, Andrew.
It was probably, in preparation for trial, it was probably the lowest moment in trial pre-prep when my lawyers had to come to me. And I was so angry at them. I think they would admit, I was just like, why would you bring me this? And I have a legal obligation to bring this to you for you to make a decision.
What did they offer, AG?
They wanted me to admit guilt on 1 count, and they would have dropped the other 20, however many counts they bought against me. And I was so insulted. I was offended. I was hurt. I was all these things. There's no mother than way. Yeah. I'm accepting any deal. You can tell them when you go back, never, ever, ever to approach me again with any bargain. Unless it is, we're dropping all charges.
That's right.
And we apologize for having turned your life upside goddamn down to pursue a case that was no case at all. So, but for most people, when you look at the percentage of federal cases, 90% of them, the defendant is found guilty or they have already reached a bargain, so it never goes to trial. That's You're right. looking at 90%. I mean, you got the odds of 10%, 10 out of $1. You of course, the money will cause you to say, okay, we can end this and the bill can stop. The ability to have some predictability around what's going to happen if I say, okay, and I only get 3 months, or maybe I only get a year of probation or whatever, in a felony, whatever. All of those decisions I get while some people say, yeah, I'll take it without even being guilty. They take it because you're like, I'll take the thing I know versus the risk of what I don't know. Yeah. And the consequences that can come that could keep me away from my wife and my kids and my family for years, right? So you might cop to that. But I appreciate this brother for fighting this thing all the way through, knowing that right is right is right. But the truth is that there are a lot of people who were right and did not break the law who are behind bars today because the deal was more predictable and acceptable than the fighting of it and the not knowing, because we don't get a fair shake in this system. And I know that for a fact. And I know ASAP Rocky knows it for a fact. And I'm just glad that in this case, the justice prevailed, but it never really is justice. Why? Because they never say you're innocent. The judgment that they get to reach is either you're guilty or not guilty. You're acquitted, or you're found guilty. And so his life is still impacted, regardless of his resources or how bad his girl is or whatever. His life has still been turned upside down, and it's going to take him some time to recuperate and recover himself from what he's just gone through.
Do you feel like, AG, based on everything you've experienced, that you have recovered?
No, not at all.
Yeah. I think that is so important for people to know, one, how much you had to spend to ensure.
Still spending.
Yeah, the emotional, psychological, and the financial toll to argue your innocence. That never, to your point you said earlier on our pre-pro call, nobody ever declares you innocent. You're just acquitted. Yeah. And you don't get reparations or restorative justice for the money you spent knowing you're not guilty. And ASAP Rocky, through all that, could say, to turn to the jurors and say, thank you for saving my life. It's like somebody believed the story that is the truth and not the story that is painted by the prosecution. And in
my case, what I appreciated even more is that after the case was done, these jurors were released from their responsibility. And what did they do? They started meeting after my case, went down to the editorial board of the local paper, and they said, we cannot believe that this case was ever bought.
Wow.
We cannot believe this case made it through a grand jury. That's what they went down and said. They organized themselves.
Wow.
After they were released from their responsibility, a jury where the majority of people on it didn't even vote for me for governor. Because those things were disclosed, right? But they went down and they advocated because they saw a miscarriage of justice and a miscarriage of the law. All I got to say is that the effects of it are long-term. God knows I pray to get past and over, but it shows up every single day in a multitude of ways. And I just try to hold it together long enough not for it to be a drag on my children and my family.
Yeah.
I want ASAP Rocky and Andrew to start an organization.
Yeah, honestly, we need to take down grand juries.
I'm not being funny. I'm not being funny.
Believe me, I know you are 100% serious. I think anybody listening knows this organization going to exist in a year from now. Yeah, I honestly, I think that would be a good idea. And Andrew, let me just say, like, when you and I are together, when the three of us are together, when I've seen you with your family, you do a really good job of, you. Of course, you're free, whatever you're feeling inside, to share with us. We love you, and we've talked about it, but you don't let it weigh you down. Like, you're still out here doing what you can as best you can. And I just want to say, this entire show, I want you to know this, I've looked at you and thought you were showing cleavage, and I realize now.
Oh my God. What
that
is happening
it is a
today?
brown.
Native Land Pod is a production of iHeartRadio in partnership with Reason Choice Media. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.